Morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today in the UK it is the 16th of September and the weather's starting to dip in temperature now, but I think we've got about maybe a week possibly of relatively nice temperatures, although we are due rain within that week, heavy rain. Anyway, so I thought we'd do an update video today, give you a wander around and see where we've been for the year, and I thought we'll start with these little guys. So let me get you in there. Look at these. So these are the cuttings we took. There's one, and there's the other one. Look at them. So they're the cuttings we took from the grafted ginkgo, and glad to say, success. So I've never done cuttings on ginkgos before. In fact, pretty new to the species, and yeah, I got 2 new trees. I'm so excited about them. So that's the first update. Second of all, yeah, we're going to get you off the stand. We're going to have a wander around, see where we're up to with the ones that we have done this year, and you know, maybe we'll have a look at some of the other trees that are on the benches that you've not seen. Who knows? Let's have a look. So where should we start? Do you know what, I must be in luck, because every time I start one of these videos the sun seems to come out. Anyway, can't stay too long, I've got a video to make. So down here guys, we'll start with the hawthorn. So as you can see, she's bursting with growth. Look at that. Look at that. So in the spring what we're going to do with this one is we will repot her. You'll probably see these yellow sticky pads as well. Some of the trees are going to be coming in these I'm going to say spring. They're not coming in the spring. No. They're going to be coming in the autumn. Some of the tropical ones, and as you can see, if I go in, I've got little bugs down there, and obviously some flies there, but the little bugs, they are gnats, and I don't want them in the house, so I've put some of these sticky pads everywhere, and they attract all the gnats. So I don't want a gnat infestation in my house, so I've started early by putting these out, and they attract, and I'm going to try and gather as many as I can before they go into the houses. Yeah, so you'll see them all over the bench. So going back to this tree, when we repot it in the spring, so what I want to do is this section here, I'm going to add more bend into it because it's very straight, because obviously I can't bend it the way we've potted it, well, the way it's already in the pot and the way we've put the wire around it. I want to add more bend just in this section here, so when it repots I'm going to increase the bend, pot it up, and then I'll probably cut the wire off further up at this section because that's got enough bend in it. I just want to increase the bend, so I'll take the wire that's here, wrap round further, add the bend, and then repot it, and then I will cut that off within a year as the bend sets. So that's the idea for this one. As you can see, I think it might have some sort of fungal infection on it. If you can help me identify that, that would be grand. At least I hope it is. Well, I hope it isn't. I hope it's just, well, I hope it's just maybe the crappy soil that it's in. But yeah, I think it might be a fungal infection. Maybe some fungal treatment, pesticide will do the trick. Some of the new growth is fine, it's nice, but it's just on the old growth. But the tree overall is very healthy, it's doing really well, and I feel like this is going to be a really nice tree in the future. So that's the hawthorn. If we move this way and I pull this tree over, this is the ugly maple. So she has got plenty of growth still on her. So she put all that growth on that we had a look last time, and I forgot to get around to doing another video on her. But what I would like to do is maybe trim one of these sections back. It's possibly late now, but I will probably trim this section back and probably lose maybe this one, or cut her back as well, and just bring everything back nice tight. If I come out, you can see she's there, She's looking pretty. So she's down low on the decking, just down with all the pots. And if we come up, we've got all the ficuses here all together. So this ficus is the one we recently worked on. We cut right back. The video has just gone out today, actually, in the current timeline. So we're already doing a update on it. So all the buds are pushing back out. Let's zoom out a little bit. So we've got an update video on the video that's just come out. Isn't that weird how time works? YouTube, eh? Woo! So yeah, she's doing well. So you've got an update on this already. So this tree is on the beginner's guide to ficus. So you can see we cut it all back. They're pushing buds. So once that's buds pushed, we'll select those shoots. Yeah, she's doing good. And as I say, I only worked on her 2 weeks ago, I think it was. So you can see what a bit of sun does on a healthy tree. Plenty of water. And all these ficuses, as I say, they come inside. I've got a grow set up, so they will continue to grow over the winter. So I'll continue updates on all my ficuses. So content throughout winter, unfortunately, probably just going to be ficus content related, and possibly some stuff on deciduous trees like my Chinese elms. But they will just pruned, getting them set ready for the spring, selecting the branches, the usual maintenance work. I do have a sarissa here as well that you guys have not seen. I keep wanting to get round to doing some work on this. Now this is a lovely tree, but it is massively overgrown. So the idea with this was to let it grow out because it was just a stick. But it's ready to take shape now. It just needs cutting back and shaping. So next to her we have the windswept ficus. So she's starting to put the growth in now, pushing all the growth outwards. So as soon as she starts hardening off, we're just going to trim back in again, so produce more growth downwards. And you see the buds are still not popped. But yeah, as I say, we're just going to keep repeating the growth. Harden. So as this bit hardens off, we'll cut down here, forcing more growth back, like we've got just there. Well, she's doing quite well. I just moved the sarissa out of the way. There. So the ficus behind her, if I move out of the way, again, this is one we're going to see on the channel very soon. And there's another one of those sticky pads. So this is my project I've had for the last 4 or 5 years. This is a Ficus benjamina. She's pretty tall now, but she's a fusion project. So if I get you into the base, you can still see in the gaps here. So these were several different benjaminas. So they all started at round about, if you see the back here, they all started about this thickness. And I wrapped a couple of them together. I probably started with 3 trees. I just stuck them together, bandaged them up with a bit of cling film, and then I kept taking cuttings, putting them together in the trunk, and bandaged them up again, and then shaped them. So as you can see, if I move you in, this part's still fusing, so that's another part. Yeah. And then I did the same on with this bit at the back there. And now she's getting to be a really cool tree. I mean, I think ideally she needs a bit of work on, and she does need reducing in height. Probably somewhere down here. She needs a cut, reducing, I'd say probably here, I think, or here. But she's quite a good looking tree. I think what I would like to do is the pot that she is in is a little too fat. I would probably want to take that pot and change it over with this pot and put the beginner's tree in the pot that the fusion tree is in. So next to the fusion tree, we have the other ficus we worked on. And then look at how much growth we've put on that one already from the cutback. Again, we need to get another video of this. And then this is the branch I was talking about that I'm probably going to remove in a future video. Because we've got this lower branch. But again, once all the growth's in, you can't see it, and it does build a really good canopy on the tree. So it is a hard choice to make. It looks great, but do you keep it? Put it in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. To the left, this ficus here is going to be a video as well. I'm not going to show you this one right now. I don't want to spoil the video. But that's an upcoming video about rescuing a ficus. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, this one's going to be a good one. It's just a decision on that. Do I remove that branch? Please let me know in the comments. I'm going to go over here now to this. Now, this is my Chinese elm. And again, we only did a video on it weeks ago. Look at the growth again. Now, this thing just does not want to stop growing. So this is a Chinese, this is the one I bought on eBay. This thing, just look at this thing. I don't know what to do with her. This grows faster than a Zelkova. So she needs another trim. The question is, do I trim it up before winter comes? I might have to give her a little trim. But she is manic with growth. Absolute manic. So, looking great. Just next to her down here, we've got the Chinese plum. She's coming along. Look at that. Absolute fantastic. From the cutback we did, if I can just spin all the way around for you. So she just needs to tidy up now, bring that growth in line, and she's going to be a lovely little tree. These are fantastic little trees, as I said in the video. One that takes patience, but with that patience brings a real reward. Reward. Highly recommend these trees. Okay. Where do we move to now? So, the apple from seed. Unfortunately, she died back, and that's all we've got left of her. No, I joke. So she's all the way up here. She does need a cut back. She hasn't put on an awful lot of growth. Now, there is a Chinese privet behind. Now, she's got quite a lot of growth on her. But the apple, if I just put her in the corner. So, there is my apple. So, as you can see, she hasn't put that much growth on this year. I think because she is only small, she hasn't. But the trunk herself, she's thickened up at the bottom. Oh, there we go. She's thickened up in the base compared to how she was. She was very twiggy. But I'm just going to continue to let her grow, do her thing. And then over the winter, when she does drop her leaves, I'm just going to cut her back. It's going to bring her to 2 pair of leaves, pretty much. And then I think we will lose the sucker at the bottom. Or do I just leave her just to try and thicken the trunk? But she's healthy, she's doing well. And then in 2 years, we'll just leave her in this pot. I'll say she's small and she's just going to grow into this pot. And then in 2 years, we'll upsize the pot, let her grow up a bit bigger. And then we're going to keep doing that for the next couple of years, upsize and upsize. She is not a bonsai yet, and as such, we're going to treat her that way upsize her until she gets big. So she's there getting healthy. Well, we are on this side of the bench. Not a bonsai by any means, but I would like to show you my grapevine. Look at my grapes. Pretty sure they're ready to eat as well. I did have one the other day. They're quite bitter. They're supposed to be a variety for making wine. So, yeah, not sure it's supposed to be sweet or not. But this is the first year I've had grapes. Well, I've managed to grow them off the vine. So the vine's very large for the 2 years I've had her, and I've got quite a few bunches of grapes. She grows, yeah, she's growing up towards my, well, in towards my neighbour's garden. So I might need to do something about that. She's just in a tiny little pot down there. So, yeah, grapes. Cool little add towards my bonsai display. And I've got another section of grapes just over here. Not as pronounced as the other ones, I'm afraid, though. These are tiny little white grapes. Kind of cool, though. And now this grape is more like a flame bush. Kind of cool. So, this one is an experiment. So, well, it's not really an experiment as such. So, this is a Chinese elm that I am growing wildly in a bucket. Oh, it's a pot, really. So, this was a cutting. Just stuck it in some soil in a pot. It's got some weeds in it. And all I am doing is I am just letting this thing freely grow. I'll just pull out a little bit. As you can see, she's getting large. So this is literally a 18-month-old cutting. As you can see, pretty large. And all I'm doing is letting it grow. And I want to get a nice thick base on her. So you can see the size of her already for 18 months. I want to get a nice thick tall tree, and then I eventually want to cut back. I don't want to do anything for the next, I say, another 12 months, and then I might just go in and have a look at the roots, make sure they're okay, neaten them up. It did have a branch towards the bottom, and that was unsightly. It had loads of branches growing out, so I did cut that off. So it has a little bit of a wound there. I had about 4 or 5 branches coming out. So I am just obviously maintaining, I am maintaining and making sure that we don't have several branches coming from one spot. I don't want ugly insightly inverse taper. And then again from that, I have stuck a couple of ones in, see if I can get any more, but they died, except we have one here as well. So the idea is just to let these grow. There's no protection from the wind, the elements. If they survive, which these other ones haven't, except this big one and then this little one next to it. So, I'm going to get myself a big Chinese elm. And I'm going to do it fast. That's the idea anyways. Just behind me, we have my root over rock in this big pot. Field maple. Now, I did a full video on this, cutting it back, and I lost all my data apart from about 5 minutes, and there was no way I was making any sort of video with it. So unfortunately, you guys missed out on a really good video. And in that video, as you can see, we sort of make a different decision on the direction of the tree. So it was going to go for a full windswept, but we cut right back, and we are gonna make this tree, if I can just angle it a little, well, this is very sturdy, angle it slightly different, and then we've got sort of a upright-ish tree, and we're gonna grow it that way, off the rock, rather than a windswept. I just think that's going to be the best way to go with this tree. and she is thickening up like a monster. Compared to when I first got it, she was a twig. This thing is nice and thick. So that's my thumb. She's doing well. And I've put my little scarecrow in here to try and scare the birds, because they love to try and eat the moss. The amount of times I've come back and the moss is everywhere, it's a nightmare. Moving on from here, I think we'll have a quick walk down this little bench. This is like my bench of all sorts. So I've got a sun-fried maple over here, some cuttings of boxwoods. So this boxwood was in a garden centre. It was a massive bush. I cut it back and took my chance. So this side cut right back, got a couple of buds back. Bud here, this part looks dead. I did have a bit grow back, but died off here and here. Everything else is doing quite well. And then we've got one in the back here. I got two maples just here, all potted up. So these two I ended up picking up from Asda with a couple more. I paid 15p each for them. So these are doing really well actually. 15p each, took them home, potted them up. They've had a root trim as well, so they are nicely done. This one's even better, so look at the movement on this one. Oh yeah. In there we have a sycamore. This is my lemon, lime, not sure which one. But again, some cool trees. And a fruit. Got some hibiscus. I want to show you these because look, they're in flower. Look at them. Beautiful. Do love my fruit trees. So I've got a nice big pear tree. Kumquat down at the bottom. There's the grafted ginkgo, which hasn't really done much yet. This leaf has decided to sprout from where we cut. And then that, I assume, is going to start now developing as a leader. But other than that, the grafted ginkgo hasn't done anything. Next to her, I have another oak that you guys haven't seen yet. That's just chilling at the moment. Another pear tree. Okay, lots of things we have done. There's a small maple we've worked on previously, so she's thickened up a little bit in the base. And she's put on lots of growth, she's just ready for a trim. And again, very healthy. Put her down. A small ginkgo are wired. Still very healthy. The forest, I'll put the cuttings at the bottom. The leaves have just browned off due to the cuts. They've not died off completely yet, so there's hope for the cuttings. But the trees themselves, they're doing really well. Got a bit of browning on some of the leaves, that's just due to where I cut the ends off. As you can see, I wasn't neat and tidy and go in, fold them off, I just cut. Wasn't really bothered at the time. Trees are doing well though, really healthy. The ginkgo. The shoots at the bottom. Got them bigger. I've got loads of buds. There we go. loads of buds at the middle section of the tree. So hopefully come spring, when everything comes back to goes back to dormancy in the winter and then starts shooting out in the spring, they should pop. And then towards the top of the tree as well, where we cut back, we have lots of new growth. So she's doing well. Excited about her. And then the oak, I did a cut back. Look at that growth. Absolutely amazing. So these trees just love having a cut back. When there's all them buds, all them dormant buds ready to burst, you cut back at the right time of year. Absolute monsters of trees. So again, not going to do anything now for the rest of the year. It's too close to the end of the season. Just leaving her alone. Let her gather the rest of her energy. Leave the use for solar panels so they carry on getting the energy. Let her go into dormancy, and then we will come back in the spring and then work on her. There's that big cut, if I get you in. I'm more than happy with her. What a tree. I've got a feeling she's going to be one of my favourites in a few years. If you like that tree and you like the work I did, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, so you can see I've got plenty of cuttings for the ficuses. So this ficus tree here is actually my girlfriend's. So she doesn't have a garden currently, and we are house hunting, so we're moving in together. So it's sat in my garden, making use of the space. All those apples, hopefully one day in the future, that apple tree, my apple bonsai tree, we'll get a few apples on it. The cutting video we made, we've got all these cuttings, not one died out. So just to go to show how good ficus cuttings really are. Future video as well, we've got pomegranate growing. Never had a pomegranate and they just whip out like this. The trunk on this one's quite tiny. I bought this thing on eBay, and if I can get in, this thing has a tiny little trunk really. So I'm just letting this thing grow out and I'm trying to thicken the trunk. Some of the projects in here, plenty of cuttings. I've got loads of ficus to come in the house come winter. Yeah, the missus is going to shout at me. I know it. So that's some of the updates. I'm not sure if I've missed anything or not. If you think I've missed anything, please leave me a comment. Let me know, and I'll let you know what's going on. Just realised I did miss a tree. The Chinese elm. Let's get this thing out. So the little Chinese elm we've got here. So if I bring it over. So as you can see, the other Chinese elm, she's got loads of growth popping as well. I cannot wait to pot this thing up. This is going to be a beauty. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Pads are coming in nicely now. She just needs the right pot. Couple more years. She's going to be awesome. Let's get her back on the bench. So that's September's update, all done and dusted. I hope you enjoyed the little tour as well. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, tell your friends, like the channel, subscribe. That is the most important thing to growing this channel. It really does help me out, and for those that have subscribed, I am very, very grateful. It's helping me out. Please share this content. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and for those that are loving the channel, I love you guys, so thank you very much. So anyway, that's my little update. That's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Spread the love. Stay safe. See you next week.